Hello and welcome back. Today is Father's Day and I got a new t-shirt. So now I know that I'm a daddy and I'm a superhero. So that's awesome. And summer is coming, which is also awesome. So, what a wonderful world. I've talked a little bit earlier, in some of the previous vlogs about balancing career life with the family life. And I'm not gonna lie, being that completely changed my life. I think it's mostly for the better, but sometimes you realize that there is always some balance and there is always, some price in everything, right? I like to say that, kids are joy, but kids are also a lot of troubles and you are not longer, the sole master of your time, and that can be sometimes challenging and that can be troublesome, and you need to somehow cope with that if you want to be long term happy and long term satisfied. When it comes to parenting, the usual model here in Czech Republic is that it's still usually the woman who stays with small kids for quite a long time at home. I think the most usual is like up to their 3 years of age, and that can be very demanding, right? The bottom line of my message today is that sometimes every each of one who has, small kids and a partner at home with whom we should somehow divide the care after these kids. We should just from time to time, stop and reflect a little bit on how we do that and if it still feels fair. Because as I said, I often feel like I can't manage to do a lot of stuff I would love to do. Like for example, from starting from the silly stuff, like I used to play a lot of video games like few years back before the kids. And now I really can't manage to do that anymore because with the full-time job, with some activities like this, for example, recording some vlogs or podcasts for you guys, I just can't manage to, have. It's not just about the time; it's about also the mindset, right? To have like this calm, time to just sit and enjoy some video game without any regrets. That's not existent anymore. And there is more stuff like that. For example, I can manage to go, sit with my friends to the pub, but it will not be every week. It might not even be every month. So sometimes when these stuff, you know, when you combine these things, it can feel pretty overwhelming. And I would love to hear how others manage that, because sometimes I speak with like some other working dads and some other people who try to balance demanding work with family, and in a way that you know there is a good compromise at home and everyone is kind of happy. But if you have similar experience, share it in the comments. I would love to hear your stories. What I'm trying to say, I think, is, lower your expectations. Don't feel like you are failing. Because in the end, however bad you feel as a dad, I can guarantee you that you are a much better dad to your kids than you expect for yourself. And yeah, of course, we all have mistakes, and I'm prime example of mistakes towards the kids, because I have a short temper. Sometimes I get angry really fast, and I can shout at my kids and then regret later, and so on. But in the end, I think it's important to you know be conscious about that, and not just on like Father's Day like today, but on a regular basis, and just try to be the best version of yourself, because there is nothing which will bring you better joy or greater joy than your kids, and there is also nothing that will bring you you know bigger worries and bigger troubles than your kids, and that's okay. That's how world works. I'm really curious what the world my kids will grow up in will look like, because there have been so much happening in technology world, and like overall in the last 20-30 years, and now with AI and everything. I'm really curious how that world will be, and I hope it will be the best environment for them. But I'm also worried. But I think it's the responsibility of each one of us to, help just a little bit them to be a little bit better prepared, to teach them about the world around us, and about all these technologies, and just help them be better prepared for what might be coming towards all of us, and help them be better human every day. Yeah, that was quite philosophical, right? Okay, I think that's all for today. Sorry if I was a little bit too philosophical, but you caught me in the mood as this. And if you like my channel, my videos, leave me a comment, subscribe. And if you are here for a little bit more technical content and something about software engineering, then I have a good news, because next week there will be a really nice episode about all these AI buzz and AI and product development. So stay tuned and see you next time.